Base Case Season 2, Episode 27, The 7 Habits, Part 1. A couple of years ago, I did episodes on books that shaped and reflected my teaching and performance philosophies, and they still do. They were 3 books written by musicians and, in general, for musicians. Effortless Mastery, Free Play, and Inner Game of Music. I think it's important to put thought into what we do as musicians. To think about music and practicing and performing instead of all the time expecting good things to happen because we work hard at it and we practice. Or that we pick up our instruments regularly and good things are going to happen. There's much more to that. But also to understand that we can become better players by changing and understanding and redirecting our thinking. I'm talking about changing our thinking about how and why we practice, and perform, and teach. And I think there's books and writings that are effective to making us better players. I mean, that alone, just reading a book is not going to make you a better player, but it's that thought that you put into it. I'm not talking about books with licks in them or bass lines. Books to help you with your sight reading, those are important too. But there's other books too that are not thought of as books for musicians, but the content can be shaped for musicians. And maybe I can help you shape it. In the late 1980s, Stephen Covey published The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I heard about it. I completely ignored it when it came out. And through the years, I saw that title come up again and again in different things. And I thought it was just another self-help book, which it is. And you know that there are a lot of those around. Some are trendy and die out. Covey's book didn't die out. And when I was in my doctoral program, it showed up in a music ed class I was taking. And I still didn't read it. But at some point, 10, 15 years ago, I came across it and I checked it out and eventually bought it. And right off the bat, it seemed and aimed at corporate business cats. The blurbs as you start the book are mostly corporate executive types that have had a lot of success in their careers. And of course, they have nice things to say about the book. And let me be straight, I don't have a generalized problem with business executives. They have a job to do and it's done, likely in many different ways. And before teaching, I worked in the corporate world on 2 different occasions in low-level jobs. But I had contact with executives, and several of them had the same interests that I have, including working out in music. And they were cool, intelligent people that were just that. People trying to make it, and were human beings like you and me in general. And they expressed some sincere interest in my music career and studies. But I still had the idea that Covey's book appealed to corporate cats. How would it apply to me? And surprise, it did, and it does. I had to think about it. Stephen Covey said that the principles in the book were like natural laws, and he figured out how to put them together for people to use. That he didn't invent anything in that book. It was stuff he had thought about for a while. And it's a lot of book. It's 300 pages, over 300, and I can honestly say I haven't read every single word, but I have picked up his 7 habits, and I have the basic tenets of what he was trying to teach. And I was thinking about him the other day, and I thought, I'll do that. I don't think Covey would have been surprised that a bass player picked up his book and found it useful. Moreover, I doubt I'm the first bass player to pick up his book and apply it. I'm going to go out of order over the next few episodes, and I'm going to start with his habit number 1. And it applies to us. His habit number 1, begin with the end in mind. And Covey is deep with this, and he has the reader imagine what our end of life is to be like and what we did with our life. And that's how we move forward, and how it's important to think about what your end game is. And I took that in a couple different ways. I took it in the literal way that Covey says, what's it going to be like at the end of my life? What did I do with my life? But I also think about it when I'm practicing, what am I trying to do? What's my end result here? And I'll quote him. He says, start with a clear understanding of your destination. Let me paraphrase, to know where you're going as a bass player so that you better understand where you are now, and so that the steps you take are always in the right direction. I think about it a lot. Does this gig subjugate my work as a teacher? Am I going to miss and move bass students around to take this gig? I don't want to do that. Teaching is my game. The gigs come second to me. And that's easy because there are plenty of gigs and plenty of time when I'm not teaching to take them. And you have to figure this out for yourself. I see students miss rehearsals and they miss lessons, they miss classes, and they're probably missing practicing and studying because of jobs and other outside interests. And if their end game is to become a professional musician and hold a degree, they're going the wrong way. They're not taking the steps in the right direction for their end game. But the best part of this chapter to me is the creating of a personal mission statement or philosophy. And what are you trying to do and how are you going to do it? And in this chapter, Covey goes into the at the center and the positive things that have to be at the center. Concepts like wisdom and guidance, power and security. But then as he goes into the chapter, he got into alternative centers. These are things you don't want in your life. And they're the things that are going to get in your way, not only of just becoming a better bass player, whatever your end game is, but just of becoming a healthy person. And there was one that really stuck out to me. It was work-centeredness. And I thought about that, how unhealthy and counterproductive this is. I've obviously worked and studied with a lot of musicians, and particularly in grad school, we were very work-centeredness about our music, to the point we wrapped up our work in our identity. I'm a musician. It's a dangerous center. Covey says that, and I'm telling you that too. You have a bad gig, rehearsal, practice session, class, and your self-worth is tied up in this center. So thus, at that moment, your life is bad. Until you have a good rehearsal gig, and then your life is good, right? And the vicious cycle continues. And to quote Covey, your guidance is a function of the demands of the work. The wisdom and power that you need come in the limited areas of work. So rendering them ineffective in other areas of your life. You can only function as a musician in the music world. That's it. I remember another musician writing one time saying, you want to become a better musician, work on becoming a better person. I've tried this. This will not fail you. There's a danger that you will feel better about yourself because of the good that you're doing. And when you feel better about yourself, you'll play better and practice better, and you'll put the whole thing in alignment. Think about that. If you have questions, email me at phil@basscase.co. I'll talk to you soon.